Is it possible to achieve 100% happiness in your life? I mean, waking up practically every single day, being exactly where you want, being content, and just feeling like I am at a 10 out of 10 and I feel great. Is it possible? We're going to talk about that today on Microdose U. I am Dr. Dave. So glad you're here with me.
Enter the world of magic mushrooms with Microdose
Hey there, welcome. I am Dr. Dave. Thanks so much for being with me today. I really appreciate you. And this is a question, we talk about all the time. And so many people are here, maybe you, because you just don't feel like you're exactly where you want to be in your life. You're not feeling 100% happy. And I know many people are also here because of some type of mental health issues, such as depression or anxiety or even other things. But a lot of that has to do with happiness because when you're not happy, it can lead to stresses on your body, which then lead to, depression and anxiety and a lot more also. Now, not 100%, but very often that is the case. If things are going really, really well in your life and your happiness factor is a 10 out of 10, then there's generally a very good chance you're not going to be experiencing mental health issues as well. It's, a lot of times, they go hand in hand. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about, first of all, do I think it's possible to get to a 10 out of 10 on the happiness scale and live that life almost every single day? Now, of course, there are going to be things that get in the way. I mean, if a loved one dies, then you're not going to be happy about that. But that doesn't really mean that in your general life, you're not happy. Let's make that very clear. There are things as human beings, we go through things, all the time that can make us upset, make us sad, but that doesn't mean we're not happy inherently. And what I want to do is talk about, is it possible to really live a 100% happy lifestyle, a 100% happy life? And my answer is going to be an emphatic yes. I really believe that. How do I know that? Because I've gotten there. And it's taken me a long time, and I've probably shared some of this stuff with you in the past, but in the past, I was not happy. I was living a life that I couldn't say I was 100% happy. I had a lot of different things going on that were not only causing me unhappiness and stress, but also depression and anxiety. But when I started studying this and trying to, put every day into this, it's working on my life and achieving 100% happiness. I am there, and I just want to share with you what it took and how you can do this. So, one of the first things that comes to people's minds is, if I just had more money, if I just had a lot of money, if I were wealthy, of course I'd be happy. Yeah, you throw $10 million at me and I'd be happy. Well, that's not me talking, that's other people talking, because I've learned that that's absolutely the farthest thing from the truth that you could possibly believe. Now, of course, money is important in some regards. It really is. I'm not going to minimize money, because you need money to put food on the table, to eat, to pay your bills, to heat your house, to use the air conditioning, to pay your car insurance, maybe send your kids to school, whatever it might be. You need money for that. But above and beyond the amount of money that you use on a regular basis to, keep yourself alive and keep yourself fed and keep yourself warm and clothed and everything like that, and entertained. Of course, we all need some entertainment. But above and beyond that, the more money you have, the happier you are not. It doesn't make you happier. And I'll share just a real little quick example with you on money, because again, when people talk about happiness, one of the first things that comes to their mind is money. You give me more money, I'll be happy. Well, I've got this person that I know, and he is, let's just say, he's very, very wealthy. Um, and if you look at him, you would believe that he's really, really happy. He drives really beautiful cars. The clothes he wears are like the absolute finest. He's always looks like he's in good shape. He goes to the gym, he works out, he's tan. His hair is perfect. His glasses are beautiful, designer glasses. And anybody that would look at this person would say, wow, he's achieved total happiness. He's there. But knowing this person, and I know this person pretty intimately, he's actually very far from there. And if I had to give him a score, if I just had to guess from knowing this person very well how happy he is, and remember he's very wealthy, I would probably give him a score of he's probably in the 2 or 3 range. And you might ask, well, how's that possible? He's got money. He's got everything he wants. How? Why? What do you mean? Why would you give him a 2 or a 3 in the happiness scale? Because I know deep inside he's struggling with his life and nothing's working well. And you can have all the money in the world that you want, but this person's not happy. And without going into any more details, you're going to have to trust me on this. The more money you have does not equate to more happiness. And you might be saying, okay, well, Dr. Dave, that might not be true, but you throw a few $1,000,000 at me and I promise you I'll be happy. Well, you might be saying that. We might be joking about this right now, but trust me, it's really not true. When I was working as a dentist, I was making a really good income. And, my kids were in private schools and we had beautiful cars and a nice big house. But deep down inside, I absolutely was not living a happy life. I was not hanging around the people that I wanted to be hanging around with. My relationship and my marriage, I knew in my heart was not what it should have been. And I was struggling. And that's what most likely led to a lot of my problems that would happen in the future, such as the depression and the anxiety. And it wasn't until I changed that entire lifestyle that and really worked on my life every single day. And yeah, with microdosing magic mushrooms, you don't have to. I know this podcast is all about microdosing magic mushrooms, but you can still be 100% happy without ever touching a magic mushroom. Will magic mushrooms get you there faster and easier? Yeah, very possibly. Yes, very possibly. I'm a firm believer. But here's what I'm going to say is that you can be a great microdoser. You can microdose exactly on schedule with the right amount. But unless you do other things in your life, I promise you, you will not achieve the 100% happiness. You won't. Now, what are some of these things I'm talking about? What are some of the things that you need to fix or adjust before you can really truly reach 100% happiness? And by the way, what does 100% happiness even feel like? What does it feel like to wake up every single day and be 100% happy? Well, it's hard to put into words, but I think in your heart and in your gut, you're there when you're there because you just have this feeling like I'm ready for this day. I'm going to glide through. Everything's beautiful in my life and let's do it. And again, it's very hard to explain, but when you're feeling the 100% happiness, you will know it. And I just took an informal survey in my Facebook group, asking people on a scale from 1 to 10, where are they in their happiness? And it ranged anywhere from close to 0 to some people said 9. Very few. It's interesting. Very few said 10, and I find that interesting. Is it that they're really not 10, or is it they're afraid to admit that they're a 10? But I'd say most people seem to average around 6, 7, 8, and that might sound okay. But do you want to live your life at an average 6, 7, as far as happiness goes? When you can be a 10, do you want to live your life like that? So what are some of the things that you need to do to get yourself to 100% happiness every day? And again, I say every day because things are going to happen in your life that you're going to feel some days that you're not happy because a parent just died or a spouse just died. But again, that doesn't mean you're not happy. That means you're dealing with a life crisis, and everybody does, and there's no way to avoid that. Nor would I ever even suggest trying to not deal, because we have all have to deal with life crises. But that has nothing to do with happiness. It really doesn't. But what do you have to do besides the microdosing, or in addition to the microdosing, to achieve 100%? What do you have to do? Well, you have to examine your life very, very deeply and honestly and totally transparently. You have to be really honest with yourself. And this is an area where a lot of people struggle and have a problem, because a lot of people, and you'll see it on social media, they're masquerading as being happy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You see people, some of your friends on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it might be, every day, and they're pretending to be happy. But you know, and I know that these people are not happy, but they pretend. But we're not here. You're here with me. We're not pretending anymore. We're not pretenders. We're the real deal, and we want to be truly happy. So you have to examine your life honestly. You have to take some time off. I've always talked about just being by yourself. And I love going away by myself and just being somewhere totally by myself and thinking. And I like to go out to eat by myself. I like to take a hike by myself. I like to, travel by myself. That doesn't mean I don't like to be with my wife. I love to be with my wife. But sometimes we need that alone time just to think about our lives. So I want you to do that. And I want you to really think deeply. And what is it? What is it in your life that is just not helping with 100% happiness? Is it a relationship? Again, you have to be honest about this, because in many instances it is. And people are living in relationships and saying, well, nothing's perfect. When somebody's in a marriage and they say to me, well, my marriage is pretty good, but nothing's perfect, then it's like, that's a tremendous red flag to me. Because I would never say that about my marriage. If you're saying, well, nothing's perfect, that means things are going on in your marriage, or whatever you're talking about, whatever you're referring to. Maybe you're saying no job is perfect, no work is perfect, but that's telling me that you've got some struggles there. So if you're saying, well, nah, nothing's perfect in my marriage or in my work, then you've got to look deeply and tell me, what is it? What is it? What is it in your marriage or in your work that you're doing, or in your friendships, your relationships? When you say, oh, nothing's perfect, what is it that's not perfect? What is it that's not working out? Because there's something there that's blocking your happiness. I guarantee that. And I want you to identify that. I want you to come clean. I want you to be honest. If you can't be honest about this right now, then you may never find the path to 100% happiness. But if you can feel it and identify it and then work with it, what is it? What's going on there? Again, most commonly, relationships, jobs, family, friends. Money, it's only money if you're truly struggling and don't have enough for the basics. But if you're struggling because you can't buy the same cars as your friends have, or the same things, or the same mansions, then that's a big problem. Because keeping up with the Joneses, trying to do everything your friends do, that's going to lead to a tremendous amount of stress, destruction, and unhappiness. It'll catch up to you somewhere. I promise. If it hasn't yet, I promise you. I see this again. I see this every day. People trying to live lives that are way beyond their, their financial ability. They're trying to live a life like you make. Let's say you're at a 5 financially, but you're trying to live an 8. It's not going to work, because you're going to have debt. And then once you have debt, you're going to have to pay it from somewhere. And where are you going to get that? So you've got to live within your means. And you might not be able to keep up with your friends, and you shouldn't try, because that's, again, that's a recipe for unhappiness for sure. Maybe either stop trying to emulate everybody you're with, or stop hanging around those people if they're putting pressure on you in some way. Like, yeah, we've all got to go out on this. We're all going out to this $500 dinner. If you don't come, you're a loser. Well, that's horrible. I don't go out to $500 dinners. I don't even do it because it sounds ridiculous to me. I don't want to live like that. I want to live a simple life. I don't have to show off to anybody, but what I can do fancy, or I don't need to do that. And if you're in that situation, that's again a recipe for disaster. You're trying to just keep up with your friends, do what they do. You're not going to be happy. I promise you, it's not going to work. So I want you to really analyze your life very deeply, and what are the roadblocks to your happiness, and you know what they are. You can figure it out. Up to now, you may not have been able to admit it, but you can figure it out. Even where you live. Look, 5 years ago, my wife and I moved away from the East Coast because we just weren't happy there anymore. It was not bringing us pleasure. So we packed up everything. I've told you this story before. We packed up everything and moved to Salt Lake City, Utah. And now every day feels like a blessing, because we're exactly in the location we want to be. You might be saying, well, I can't do that. Well, maybe not. I disagree with people that say quickly, I can't do that. I've also worked with other people that whenever I pointed something out that is going to help their life and help their happiness and decrease anxiety and depression, it's very easy for them to say, yeah, that sounds good, but there's always a but. And that's why they're still where they are, because they're not willing to listen deeply and change. Yeah, sometimes it's frightening, but so many people, yeah, but I can't do that. I'm calling bullshit on that. You can do that. I think people these days, I think you can do anything you want in your life, almost. I'm not saying do anything super expensive. I'm saying make a change and do something different. Look, if you want to achieve 100% happiness and you're not there, you would agree with me that you have to make changes. Because if you're not at 100% happiness right now, you're not at 10 out of 10, then you're not there. There's nothing to be ashamed about. But it would be hard to disagree with me that in order to get there, you've got to change something. That's hard to disagree with, because you've been doing it this way for a long time and you're not there. So what are you going to change? It might be something that you're uncomfortable changing, but I'd like to know why. I'd like to know what it is that you've identified that you just say, I can't change that. I'd love to know. Send me an email. By the way, my email is always in my, the show notes and the website. By the way, my website is blasting off, guys and gals. Nakama, as I call you all, Nakama. You're part of my family, my tribe, colleague, Nakama. The website, microdoseu.com, blast off. Wow. Because I've got things on there that are going to help you, and I'm adding more and more. Microdose with the letter U on the end of it, microdoseu.com. It's that easy. And every episode I do here, whether you're watching me on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts, I've got show notes and I've got links. And also, we can help you one-on-one. If you don't have to do that part, but if you're really struggling and can't get to where you want to be, then you invest in yourself and you get some one-on-one help, which again, I can help. And also, I'd worked with Dr. Denise Moret, who's a doctor of psychology with this stuff. And we do one-on-one with you. No, you're not. It's not a group. It's one-on-one. It'll be listen to you only and help you. And we used to only have a 10-week program, and yeah, it's expensive, but it's still, I still believe it's the best thing out there. It's a 10-week program that you will get to where you want to be, your goals. But we listen to you also. And now we offer a one session at a time, if you like, as well. One session. You can do one session with Dr. Denise, talk about anything you want. Microdosing, your anxiety, your depression. It's not medical. It's not medical advice. It's not medical treatment. It's just we're helping you as coaches. And we do offer one session at a time now. $290 for a single session. If you book two sessions, you get a really good discount on that as well. We're listening to you because we want to help you, and that's where we are. So again, can you achieve 100% happiness? I honestly believe the answer is yes, but the only roadblock right now is you. You've got to make some changes if you're not there. And yes, some of the changes might be uncomfortable. I had to do that from my first marriage. It was terribly uncomfortable. And I think that's why maybe some people decide to stick with something that sucks, because they're afraid of making big changes. And I understand, but it's not good. So yeah, I got out of a marriage that wasn't working for me, and it was extremely difficult and very costly, by the way. Cost me a ton of money. But here I am many years later with a soulmate, my soulmate, and yeah, she appeared from the universe. The universe provided, we got us together somehow. And where we live now, and again, I'm not just saying this because it's me. I'm no different than you. I've made some choices, and I identified some things, and I've changed some things, and you can do the same thing. And along with the microdosing, it's like you've got like a grand slam. You can do this faster than I ever did, because when I did it, I didn't have the microdosing available to me. So you can do this. It's like, wham, you can get it done for sure, but it's going to take some work for sure. But again, circling back to the original question, can you achieve 100% happiness in your life? My answer is an emphatic yes, absolutely. You have to do it. You have to put the work in. I hope this really helped you. I'm Dr. Dave, Microdose U. New episode drops every Wednesday and every Friday. And I want to say, I do love you, and I feel your presence, and I feel your love. I'll talk to you next time.